Now, why? You probably figured out if you were Jewish that it was some sort of discrimination. But most people don't want to get in trouble. You don't want to break the law. So you'll just do what they tell you to do. So you'll begin wearing the star. So the first thing you've done is you stamp everybody in society as Jewish. So you label them you pick out. The second thing the laws did was they forced Jewish people to live in a certain part of town. So in other words, if you lived in Berlin, well, this part of Berlin is the Jewish part of town. The rest of Berlin, you can't have because you've got that star. So you've labeled them and you've rounded them up. That's step one of his plan. During this time, they decided to build the camps. So when they're doing all of this, they're actually building all the camps that will be used later on. The second stage, after you have rounded everybody up, after you've labeled everybody, is to actually move them. And this happened in 1938, about 3 years after the laws were passed. It was called Crystal Night, which is Crystal Night in English. It stands for the Night of Broken Glass. And what happened was Nazi stormtroopers went in to the Jewish parts of town, ransacked the entire town, broke apart everything, and the glass that was laying all over the street glistened, kind of like crystal. So that's why they called it the Night of Broken Glass or Crystal Night, because everything just seemed to be glistening in the street. Now, if you notice by this picture, they're also rounding up all of the Jewish people. This is when they take them to the concentration camps and the Holocaust actually begins. If you're saying, why didn't somebody do something about this? Didn't other people see this happening? Yes, but human nature is, if it's not happening to me, I don't care. Out of sight, out of mind. You usually care about something when somebody knocks on your door. So the next time you might be making fun of someone or you see somebody getting picked on, you might want to think twice about your reaction, because the normal reaction is to let it go. They're not picking on me, so I don't care. But when they pick on you, if somebody finally picks on you, then you want somebody to help. But human nature is other people aren't going to help you because it's not happening to them. It's a scary thought, but it is true. When they were moved to the concentration camps, they were put in basically barracks. It almost looked like a military compound. They had wood bunks that they shoved as many Jewish people as they could into, and basically horrible, awful living conditions. You had some camps that were work camps, and you're saying, what type of work are they doing? They had the Jewish people basically making the weapons for the Nazis, the bullets and the weapons that were going to be used in the war. Also, you had another type of camp that became more common as things went on, called a death camp. Auschwitz is probably the #1 death camp that is known worldwide. If you went there, you were more than likely going to be exterminated. Now, how are you going to be exterminated? And this is an awful picture, but it's the reality of what happened. They would put people in gas showers. They would tell you you're going to take a shower, have you strip down, go into a shower, and instead of water coming out, it would be poison gas. They also would put people into ovens and burn them. They would also do medical experiments. I have actually spoken with a couple of Holocaust survivors who had medical experiments done on them, and they treated them like guinea pigs. If the experiment killed them, so be it. And then they just, quite frankly, shot them. That's another way they would just do it. In a sense, you would almost dig your own grave. They would shoot you in the grave and bury you. That's it. It's an awful truth to what happened in World War II. And the scary part is, there's people nowadays saying that this did not happen. That this picture is actually not necessarily fake, but the story behind it is not correct. How they could possibly say that is beyond me. But the extermination that took place actually went beyond Jewish people, which we'll get to in a second. France and Britain, you're saying, why don't they help? They're in the middle of fighting Hitler. They don't have time to help. Also, the Depression's going on, and they said, we don't want any more people. Likewise, the United States. We had a lot of Jewish immigrants from Europe coming over that saw what was happening. They may not have known about the Holocaust, but they knew something wasn't right. We turned them away too. because the Depression was going on. We said we don't have enough room for our own people or jobs for our own people, let alone new people. We're sorry. You've got to go back. Of course, after the war, both France, Britain, and the United States all felt horrible because of what we realized had happened. All in all, we're looking at something called genocide. Genocide is when you try to eliminate a specific group of people. It started with Jewish. Hitler then expanded his list to communists, to Jehovah's Witnesses, a new type of religion. Homosexuals he put on the list. He also put on handicap. Handicap is basically a loophole. Handicap can be anything. You might think it's somebody who could be in a wheelchair. I might think handicap is somebody who wears glasses, because that would be a handicap. You can't see as well. Handicap allowed Hitler to basically kill, in his mind, anybody he saw as not fit to walk the earth. It's a very scary thing, the Holocaust. And it's up to everybody, not just governments, to make sure something like this never happens again. So the next time that you see somebody getting picked on, or you think about picking on somebody, think twice about it. Because that's exactly the type of behavior that will affect like the Holocaust. We'll see you next time. Now, World War II was actually taking place for several years prior to the United States getting involved in the war. The war, in a sense, you could say, started around 1936,
Henry, you're not doing anything.
Depending how you look at it.
Use your calculator and get shit right.
Okay. And Hitler slowly began to move around Europe. It won't be until 1941 that the United States finally gets involved. And how we get involved wasn't Hitler. It was actually an attack by Japan on the United States. Now, most people, when they hear Pearl Harbor, even students, even younger people, know what Pearl Harbor is. They know that's the place where Japan attacked us in World War II. What a lot of people don't know is why. If Hitler would have attacked us, it would have made some sense. World domination, wants to take over, thinks he's all that. But Japan attacking us, that's a little different. And most people really don't know why. Even if you've seen the movie Pearl Harbor that just came out a few years ago, they don't even explain in the movie why Japan wanted to hit us. All they do is show that Japan hit us. So, it began with Manchuria. Manchuria is a part of or over by China.
Mongolia.
Now, Japan, if you're saying, why did they even get in this war?
Emma, come here.
They're not even in Europe. They're on the other part of the world. Well, Japan, if you notice, is an island, and they were running out of room. So in their minds, they needed more space. They can't start building buildings out in the middle of the ocean. So Japan decided they wanted Manchuria, this part of China.
That was Mongolia.
So they went and attacked it and took it. At this point, the United States got involved. One, we were friends with China at this time. And two, we already see everything that's going on in Europe. And we already see the Hitler problem. the last thing we want is to have another problem in another part of the world. So we go to Japan and we basically tell Japan they need to leave Manchuria. Did it work? Of course not. If it would have worked, Pearl Harbor would not have happened. Japan refuses to leave Manchuria. We start negotiations with them. But while Japan is talking with us, they're also planning to hit us at Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor still exists, and if you ever go to Hawaii, you can actually go there and see it. And to show kind of, you could almost say, United States arrogance or United States not really realizing that somebody might want to attack us eventually.
Stupidity, you mean?
How Pearl Harbor basically looked was that you had an airstrip in the middle of the harbor. The harbor, think of as a pit stop, as a gas station. Ships come in there, they refuel, they get supplies, and they go back out into the ocean. So in a sense, think of it like a gas station or a pit stop, and that will help. You had an airstrip in the middle on this island, and then around it is where all the ships would dock. Now, the ships at the time of the attack were literally lined up. Some of them were double wide. So if you are, for instance, the Tennessee, you can't even move, let alone try to fight back or get out to the open water. We had our ships lined up like sitting ducks. Now, how did Japan know this? They sent tourists in the months leading to the attack to Hawaii. Hawaii is a vacation spot. It was then, it is now. And these tourists would go near Pearl Harbor, take photographs, and this is considered one of the best surprise attacks ever planned because of the intelligence that the Japanese had. You actually had the pilots and the bombers and the planes sitting with pictures of the actual harbor and of the ships they needed to hit. And at this time period, that was considered incredible. Remember, no satellites were up in space. We didn't have the technology that we have now. And the fact that they knew what the harbor looked like was really incredible. So the intelligence work the Japanese did before this attack was pretty intense. But we were sitting like sitting ducks. So when the actual attack happened, and this picture was actually taken from a Japanese plane, when the attack happened, it was surprise. It was Sunday morning at 7 o'clock. If you're saying, why Sunday morning at 7 o'clock? The Japanese knew, again, because of the work they had done, that on Sunday mornings, not a lot's going on at the harbor. Maybe the sailors were allowed to go in town and have a good time on Saturday night and were allowed to sleep in. Actually, most of the sailors were sleeping when this happened. But the Japanese knew that Sunday morning was the best time to hit. It would be completely surprised